Okay, today we're doing a subscriber combination request. So this combination is for the BGT format, and this is Cosmo Dragon 2, Vanguard, High Extend plus Dash, Goku. So my initial thoughts on this combination are that it's pretty interesting because you'd think Vanguard actually scrapes on High Extend plus Dash, but because it's taller, Vanguard can actually provide nice stability, at least in theory. We have yet to test it out. And of course, Dragon 2 and High Extend plus Dash, it has pretty tight teeth, I would think. And of course, I think the main idea that he had was that the tall height of High Extend plus Dash would increase the point of contact to this smooth edge. If it was shorter, a normal height, then Cosmo would not be as good because of these little ridges that generate recoil. But here, if it's taller, the bay will hit the smooth side, and it's nice like that. Vanguard, I'm still kind of interesting why you chose this disc specifically. I'm not sure, but I guess we'll see in the combinations, and I think Goku is a pretty good choice here as well to just kind of maximize the weight, although Goku is, well, you obviously use it without thinking because it's the heaviest weight. It does actually, you can hear it rattles quite a bit. So the Goku weight is actually bigger, which means on the inside, while the bay is spinning, the weight will shake around and kind of make the bay a little off balance. Plus, because the bay is already taller, it's gonna be a little more shaky anyway. And I think High Extend plus Dash is also, because of the tip, it being so sharp, it can wear down pretty fast. So this should be a pretty good combination in same spin, maybe not an opposite spin, and I don't really know how this defense would work, but it seems pretty interesting, pretty unique, and let's try it out against some GT combinations, stock and competitive. Alright, so we got the combination here. First, let's try it out against a very popular Imperial Achilles 00 Expand Destroy Dash. So Imperial's gonna come down now. Let's see if it can handle the same spin. It hits very hard. It's getting knocked back. Alright, and yeah, so Vanguard would scrape, although that is because it tilted. Prime Apocalypse, stock combination to just kind of test it against an attack type. Okay, so one thing you'll notice is that it gets knocked around the edge pretty easily and starts to tilt. That's one thing you don't want to happen. And I'm light launching this because Ultimate Reboot I can kind of controlled in the, yeah, okay. You can obviously see my point there. Launching lighter with a wider bay like Prime Apocalypse is the ideal strategy against something like this, because when you're spinning slower, and you're shaped like this, you hit a lot harder. You hit like a wall. So sometimes launching lighter actually hits the opponent and makes its layer stop, but its disc is spinning so much faster. Let's try an anti-attack combo. Evolution Dash. So this combination of Union is more meant to deal with like Judgment on Extreme and very basic stamina combos. So this is an upper attack kind of oriented thing, but it is a bit taller, so I'm curious if it's going to be able to hit the landings properly. Right there, it kind of went underneath and it just KO'd it right there. So that's the upper attack of Union on Evolution Dash, because it's a bit taller. Up. So that time I kind of messed up on the launch. I didn't launch as hard as I could have. But it's going around, as you can see. Now, see, Cosmo, it gets hit around the center pretty easily. Like, it's spinning there, but then once you start to land it hits, it just starts like going around, and then once you get on that tilt, Vanguard starts to scrape and High Extend Plus starts to tilt. So okay, so Lord Diabolos, Vanguard bearing, right spin. Let's try it against something more same spin oriented. So my bearing is a little more flat. So my bearing is going to be a little more aggressive, but you can just kind of test its stamina with it. So let's see how it does. Yeah, so you'll see it starts to tilt, but in a stamina matchup, this is good because you'll see it gets in the center and it kind of pushes the other bay underneath it. So that's kind of good. And let's try it against the taller bay. So Perfect Phoenix Ignition or Perfect Phoenix Hybrid works either way. Is taller than this, so you won't be able to get the hits. You won't be able to get it like easy. And see, that's another problem with High Extend Plus. When you start to get worn down, or Goku's on top, as I said, it starts to make you a little more off balance. So you won't be able to get under opponents, and you'll start to go around a little more. Now this time, you'll see Phoenix is actually getting Cosmo to get around it. So that's what happens when you're against the taller opponent. So it's not really looking too great for this combo so far, if I'm gonna be brutally honest. Let's try it against something stationary. So very heavy, knocks combos out of the stadium in the center. So Judgment Diabolos, Blitz Opta. Yeah, so that time I kind of messed up on the launch, but you can see even when it hit it like directly or indirectly, it just smacked it. So yeah, that was a very hard hit. Now this is where it might be doing a little better, because in a stationary attack setup, Judgment isn't hitting the layer, it's actually hitting Vanguard, and it's hitting this little smooth edge here, so you're kind of defending better against Judgment. So maybe this combo will do better on defense setups. So let's try Judgment on Quick Dash to kind of see if my hypothesis is true. We're gonna launch a little lighter with a defense type. Yeah, okay, never mind. Let's try that one more time though, just to see. Okay, so that kind of works. Okay, never mind. There's no way, it's not gonna get outspun by Quick Dash. Okay, yeah. So it won, but you can see that it kind of just, I mean, High Extend Plus Dash counterattacks. So, yeah, let's try this against an opposite spin combination. Naked Longinus, Paradox Drift Sen. Maybe this does better in opposite spin. So, the Blader who recommended this combo did actually specify it to be in stamina mode, so maybe there's a reason for that. But so far, it seems like it's got good same spin. I say good because it's not like super good same spin. Opposite spin, to be fair, it's against Drift, so I don't think we need to do another round of that, but if we do it against a more common left combo, like Master on a round bearing, how does it do against that? I'm curious. So maybe because it's taller, it'll kind of push it underneath, but so far, I mean, it's not really the most defensive thing, but it could kind of work on defense, and it doesn't burst too much. That's one good thing. But I think the problem is you need to find a way to kind of get it balanced with how tall it is. And I don't think Vanguard is the best option. I think this actually won this one, but yeah, so that makes sense. Now this has a round, so if we give it like Vanguard for better opposite spin, what happens now? And if my voice sounds a little like stuffy, it's just because Ronnie knows the weather in LA at this time. So let's see how this does an opposite spin. Some of these bays we only did a round against, but I don't really think we need to do much more. So yeah, you can see with Vanguard on a bearing, it just smacks it. So let's try one last thing. This is a nice combo of mine, Heaven on Moment with Proof. It's pretty good. It's more specialized, but it works. Let's see if I can beat this. Now this would normally have Goku on it, but this has Goku, so this wouldn't be as heavy as it normally would be. Yeah, so high extend plus, it kind of just tilts like that. So let's see how it does against this combo. Yeah. And I've been launching this first most of the time, to be fair, but against the attack types I did, but against the stamina options like Lord or like Phoenix or even this, I have been launching the other bay first, so you can't really use that as like just saying it's not fair for an example. So yeah, if I'm being brutally honest, if I like rank this combo from like S tier to F tier, I would say it's like maybe like high C tier, because it's got good opposite spin, obviously, right? If you're up against like Atomic or Destroy in opposite spin, you'll easily be able to outspin it, right? And then obviously against attack types like that are more anti-attack focused, it did pretty well against Union, kind of. So what I would do to make this combo better is, first of all, you gotta find a better disc than Vanguard, because Vanguard is better suited for like burst resistance or maybe attack combinations that are like on Mobius or Rise that like require stability and maybe some opposite spin. But on high extend plus dash, it just scrapes. So I would definitely change the disc to something like even Expand, because Expand, if you're using Cosmo still, or maybe not Expand actually, maybe Proof actually. I think Proof would work pretty well in this combo, because Proof is not as wide as Expand. So Expand kind of covers up Cosmo, and you won't get to use this other outer layer, but Proof is small enough to where this outer layer will still come in contact, but Proof is also nice and circular, so you'll get that nice extra LAD without scraping too much, because it's not as downward or as wide. So see, if you tilt like that, Vanguard would scrape, but see how nice that LAD is with high extend plus? I think that would work pretty well. Proof maybe. If you find a better frame, obviously, then that works, but also I would say instead of Cosmo, maybe even try something like Imperial. So if you have like Imperial on 0 proof high extend plus, because Imperial is much wider than Cosmo, and you can take advantage of how high extend plus dash kind of moves around a little bit when it gets worn, and Imperial is very heavy, so you can kind of get that nice defense with it. The only problem is the burst resistance, but maybe this could be better. I'm not really sure, but it was definitely an interesting choice for the combination. Very unique choice of parts to put together. I would say just mainly focused on making your disc not as downward and not as wide, and make your layer wider. So make your disc smaller and make your layer wider, and that should work pretty well with it for the main part. maybe find something a little better in terms of weight than Cosmo, but that's pretty much it for this video. If you have any other combos, comment them. I may or may not get to them, and that's pretty much it for this video. Subscribe if you enjoyed, have fun, and don't forget to keep on blading.